Have you ever heard of Hell's Bells? Not the song, but the drug. I was sitting in my 11th grade mandatory DRAC class, which stood for Drugs Are Not Cool. Mrs. Kopic was droning on and on about psychedelic drugs, inhalants, STDs, and how if you have sex you'll get pregnant and die. I sat in the back corner of the class, smirking at a ridiculous conjecture and scrolling on my phone. I saw an advertisement on the bottom of the screen for a dark web browser. A few of my friends had been watching some guy from UK read off stories of the dark web, and whatever data mining was rampant on my phone must have picked up the audio. I remember one of the stories including a drug deal transpiring on something called Silk Road. "Zach, please read off the page about Hell's Bells," Mrs. Kopic said in an annoyed tone. Like many other teachers, she knew not to bother harassing me about my phone use. I had a reputation for just getting up and leaving when they decided to challenge me. I grabbed the 16-page package she had given me at the beginning of the class and skimmed until I found the section on Hell's Bells. Hell's Bells tea is a tea brewed from the Hell's Bells plant. The plant is also known as Jimson weed and datura. It contains chemicals that both relieve pain and cause hallucinations. Medicinally, the plant can be used as a sedative and painkiller. It is abused as a recreational hallucinogenic drug by some people. I said in a bored tone to the frustrated teacher. "Good job, Zach. Now, the plant is shaped like an actual bell, and the buzz of a real bell indicating the end of the class chimed. Okay class, your homework is to find a news story about someone's experience on hallucinogens that resulted in harm or misfortune." The class groaned like a horde of annoyed zombies, and we all shuffled out of the class. That day at lunch, I began Googling for my homework assignment, desperate to get it done as fast as possible, so I could relax when I got home. As my thumb shuffled through an alarming number of cases from Florida, another advertisement popped up. Deep web browser iOS, no one will know. It was as if an actual light bulb went on above my head as I downloaded the app. The rest of the day flew by, and before I knew it I was home, laying on my disheveled bed, typing in the address to the Silk Road. I took a picture of the Hell's Bells from my dank packet, and posted an ad. Potent hallucinations Hell's Bells. 1 Bitcoin per head, serious applicants only. I laughed as the ad posted and found some random article for my class homework. The night flew away into rounds of my new favorite MMORPG, and loud music my parents hated. Before I knew it I was drifting off. The next day I woke to find I had an email waiting for me in my personal inbox. It was from an address that looked generic as could be, with a name that was equally generic and obviously fake. From J. Smith, "Hello Zach Mitchell, I want those Hell's Bells. I will send 1 Bitcoin as requested. Mail the package today. Thank you. VD." "How the hell did you get my personal email, pal?" I muttered nervously to myself. I had used a fake email when posting that ad. I thought I had been smart. My webcam was even taped up. I went to school and did my best to forget about it all, until I got to lunch. I told my best friend about the whole debacle, and he seemed entirely too excited. "Dude, how are you gonna get the Bitcoin?" he said, practically foaming at the mouth. Another kid came up, some weird skinny girl who no one liked, named Gabi. She spoke with a heavy lisp as she talked. "This is total bull crap. 1 whole Bitcoin is like $53,000. No way someone would send you that. You're just being trolled," she said, smirking. "No one asked you, Gabi. Go away," I said with a sneer. As I spoke, another email appeared. From J. Smith, another throwaway account. I said aloud to my friend. "Well, read it," he said eagerly. "I have made you an account with this Bitcoin trader, complimentary for you. You can redeem your payment here, I've already sent it. This is your login information. You're welcome. From VD Bro, login in with it. Let's see if he really sent it," called my friend. Gassed up with the idea of having $53,000 to my name, I eagerly logged in. To my surprise, it was there. The equivalent to $53,000. I knew I had to cash it out before this guy found out I was a fraud. As soon as I could, I ducked out of school and headed to every crypto ATM I could find, and at the end of the day I had successfully cashed $12,000. I would pretend to be sick the next day and do it all over again. Soon I would have the full amount in my hands. I knew I had to stash the money before my loser dad found it and spent it all on booze. I pulled out an old Monopoly game from the closet in my room, took the contents outside and burned it. I came back inside and stashed the money in the box and carefully replaced it in my closet. The day of walking all around my busy city wore me out, and before I knew it I was asleep. The next day I awoke to a text message from a number I had never seen before. "Hello Zach, I saw you were busy yesterday. Did you send the bells? VD." My heart sank as I read the words like the epitaph on my grave. This guy was watching my every move and got my personal phone number. I wasn't messing with a normal guy. After all, this guy did send me a massive amount of money for some crappy drugs. Surely, this must be some kind of hoax. I told my dad I was sick, and he responded by grunting and shuffling off to his beat-up truck on his way to another day at the car plant. As he pulled away, I got on my bike and went to every ATM I could find. That day it wasn't so great. I only got $7,000. A couple ATMs were closed, and I could only go so far on my bike. As I pulled in my driveway I saw I was getting a call, and I knew I would be making a dire error if I answered. Instead, I dropped the phone in a sewer drain. The next day I awoke to the feeling of being watched. I ran to my dingy window and moved a curtain aside to see a black sedan with tinted windows outside my house. As I squinted my eyes to observe it further, the window rolled down, and a newspaper flew out. The car sped off. I got dressed and retrieved the paper only to see it read, "Where are my hell's bells? And VD sends their regards," written in for every column. The pictures depicted rotting animals and the drug known as hell's bells. Was this a threat? I ran inside and tried to tell my dad everything. All my father said was I never liked those. Scary. Stick to shrooms. And he walked away. My jaw dropped and I went to school, desperate to get away from that sedan. The day wore on, and every time I had to work on a school computer, I would receive email after email. That was until I got to dank class with Mrs. Kopic. I sat in the corner, hoodie on, and head down. Before I knew it, the bell was chiming, and I sluggishly got to my feet to leave the class. Before I could leave, Mrs. Kopic stopped me. "What's wrong? Where's your phone?" she said in a stern voice. I began to cry. The day wore on, and every time I had to work on a school computer, I would receive email after email. That was until I got to dank class with Mrs. Kopic. I sat in the corner, hoodie on, and head down. Before I knew it, the bell was chiming, and I sluggishly got to my feet to leave the class. Before I could leave, Mrs. Kopic stopped me. "What's wrong? Where's your phone?" she said in a stern voice. I began to cry. Some hole keeps sending me stuff, so I threw it away. I played a prank on the dark web and this guy found me. My dad won't help, and he was outside my house. I trailed off, a snot poured out of my nose, and her arms pulled me into a hug. "I know someone who can help," she said softly, and she guided me out of the classroom. I was surprised to find myself in the computer lab with only 3 people in it, 2 nerdy guys I never bothered to learn the name of, and Gabi. I chaperone Gabi a lot. She knows quite a bit about this kind of thing, Mrs. Kopic said. I sheepishly approached Gabi and explained everything to her. She grinned when I finished talking and asking in a snarky voice, "So you want my help, I take it?" "Please, Gabi, I heard these people are killers," I said, trembling. She chuckled and demanded my login info to the website where I had redeemed my Bitcoin. "That app you used was bogus. Some hacker got your IP address, then your email, then you used this website he made up, and he used you as a foot soldier to launder his mined Bitcoin. He's going to continue to harass you until you give him the full $53,000. Wow, Zach, you were a real idiot in how you handled this," Gabi said, laughing. "I don't have it," I said, trembling. "That's it, I'm getting the police involved," Mrs. Kopic said. "No," Gabi and I both said. "That'll make it worse, Mrs. Kopic. That will escalate things," Gabi said carefully. "In fact, it's probably better you go. You're going to want deniability. You kids come get me if things get worse," she said as she left. "She's nice, but kind of useless," Gabi said to me. I laughed a little and ran my hands through my hair. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to find a real seller of hell's bells and reroute their sale to this VD person. I'll pay for it out of my own cryptocurrency, and you'll pay me back. This hacker is calling your bluff and has you. But if you really send the drugs, he has no real play other than blackmail. Is there anything you can get blackmailed for? She said, jabbing my side. I shook my head swiftly. He could always just try and hurt you, but we're gonna skip town, she said with a wild look in her eyes. What? I said, jaw hanging agape. That's the favor, you're going to take me out of this crappy town, she said, locking me in her gaze. Okay, I guess we have to. It's this or get wrecked by some hacker, I said, pulling at my hair. Good call, Gabi said, returning to her computer and typing away furiously. Done. Now go home and pack. I'll pick you up at 2 a.m. and we'll get out of here, she said. There I was at 2 a.m., Monopoly box in one arm, duffel in the other. My father would hardly note my disappearance. Gabi pulled up in an ancient-looking truck, and I reluctantly joined her. We bounced from town to town for months, and over the course of the months, we grew close. I began to see her as less of a nuisance, and we even started to become romantically involved. That was until I woke up in the middle of the night and found her laptop open. There it was, a welcome screen greeting Gabi, saying the following in big letters that sealed my fate as the world's biggest fool. Welcome, vicious delirium. VD. Gabi had been the one to blackmail me. It all made sense. The hacker conveniently forgot about me, because I left town. I was so stupid and naive. I heard stirring, and turned around to face Gabi sleeping soundly. I gathered everything I had, all that remained of our money, and took to the road again, without her. The messages have returned. Every time I try, and use my phone, it powers down. I know she's chasing me, tracking my every move. I don't see an escape to this, so I'm posting this in hopes someone can give me some insight on how to ditch this crazy chick. I don't know if you've ever heard of hell's bells, but you don't even have to do them for it to ruin your life.